Hello, hope you are enjoying my lectures on economics, especially on macroeconomics. And today I will be discussing about the ISLM model. I am going to introduce the ISLM model. Okay, the one sector Keynesian model of the economy, which you have an idea and deals only with the demand for output in the real sector, or as it is alternatively named, the goods market. This sector is concerned with the receipts of the national product by factors of production and the expenditure of this income by households and farms. The model can easily be extended to include a government sector and a foreign trade sector, but but it does not concern itself with how expenditure is financed. How expenditure is financed, it is not considered in the goods market equilibrium. In other words, we can say that there is no explicit consideration of the role of money. There is no explicit consideration of the role of money in the one sector model of Keynes. So the ISLM model here has a has an importance in macroeconomics. The ISLM model is a two-sector model. ISLM model is a two-sector model containing both a real sector, the goods market, and a monetary sector or market for financial assets. It was originally developed by H.R. Hicks. Depending on if prices are assumed fixed or flexible, the ISLM model comes in Keynesian. The ISLM model comes in neoclassical versions. When prices are assumed fixed, the ISLM model comes in Keynesian versions. And when prices are assumed flexible, the ISLM model comes in neoclassical version. Now, we consider a concept, the flow equilibrium and stock equilibrium. What is the flow equilibrium and what is the stock equilibrium? Flow equilibrium conditions show investment equals savings. Stock equilibrium in the financial sector requires that people are willing to hold the existing stock of both real and financial assets at their current prices. So, flow equilibrium is a situation when firms are producing their output and there is a demand there is a purchaser of that output, and there is an equilibrium in the economy, and that equilibrium is called the flow equilibrium, and that equilibrium is called the flow equilibrium. So what I have said, that flow equilibrium requires that the amount of output produced must be taken up by willing purchasers. The amount of output produced must be taken up by willing purchasers. This is a matter of concern in the flow equilibrium. This means that the volume of resources to which surplus units receives a claim that they decide not to exercise in the current period must be transferred via the operation of the financial system. Okay. Now, it must be noted that an individual act of saving does not automatically lead to a corresponding act of planned investment. An individual's act of saving does not automatically lead to a corresponding act of investment, act of planned investment. The resources released by the saver, the resources released by the saver must be lent to another household to finance its consumption, in which case the resources are used. If savers store their savings in already existing assets, such as money or bonds issued in the past, they do not directly transfer the reserves they did not wish to use the current period to a firm wishing to finance real investment. So, so what I have said that the resources released by the saver must be lent to another household. Okay, must be lent to another household to finance its consumption. If people are savings, suppose people are savings, but they are savings in the bonds or assets that are created in the past. So naturally, their savings do not go to real investment, to the farms who are producing output. Their resources are set in the past assets. Suppose, suppose the desired aggregate saving is greater than the planned investment. Imagine, just imagine, the desired aggregate saving is greater than the planned investment. What happens? Then aggregate demand is less than the demand is less than the supply of output. Demand is less than the supply of output if aggregate desired saving is greater than the planned investment. An inflationary situation may come in the scenario if the desired saving is less than the planned investment. Is less than the planned investment. It means output demand is greater than output, supply of output. As there is a more demand comparative to the supply of output, there is an inflationary pressure. So, so what I have said that if aggregate desired saving exceeds planned investment, aggregate demand will be less than the supply of output. Whereas there will be inflationary pressures if the planned demand for real investment exceeds aggregate desired saving at a given level of real income. Okay. Now, now the stock market. Now the stock equilibrium. The stock equilibrium in the financial sector requires that people are willing to hold the existing stock of both real and financial assets at their current prices. But look, if if the stock equilibrium in the financial sector requires that people are willing to hold the existing stock of both real and financial assets at their current prices. Suppose the demand for financial asset is greater than the supply of financial asset, then there is a change in the price level. Then there is a change in the price level of the asset, and it will affect the consumption and real investment of individuals. Similarly, if there is a if flow equilibrium does not exist, say investment exceeds saving, it is known to us that the flow equilibrium means the investment equals saving, and now I am saying that if investment exceeds savings, the firms lower asset prices to borrow more funds. Stock equilibrium cannot exist either. Therefore, for overall equilibrium of the economy, we require both flow and stock equilibrium. We require both flow and stock equilibrium. So flow and stock equilibrium is required. Suppose if the demand for asset does not equal to the supply of assets. If the demand for asset does not equal the supply, the prices of assets will be changing, and this will have an effect on the consumption and real investment decisions. So flow equilibrium and stock equilibrium, both equilibriums are needed. Both equilibriums are needed. Now, the ISLM model, the Keynesian version. Now look, aggregate demand identity is as follows. This is the aggregate demand identity. This is the aggregate demand identity. Here, aggregate demand is represented by E, and C is the consumption, and I is the investment. So this is the aggregate demand identity. And real output or income identity is as follows. This is the income identity. This is the income identity. The income is spent on consumption and saving. So this is an identity. And this is the demand. This is the demand, aggregate demand. Aggregate demand identically equal with the consumption and investment. So now the flow equilibrium condition, as we know, Y equal to E. This is the flow equilibrium condition. This is the flow equilibrium condition. Y, that means the income identity, and aggregate demand identity, is equal to maintain flow equilibrium. Okay. Now we substitute the values of Y in place of Y, that is the C plus S, and values of E in place, values of E, that is the C plus I in place of E, we get C plus I. So after rearranging, we get S equal to I. After rearranging, we get S equal to I. That is the savings is equal to the investment. Savings equal to the investment. Now, by assuming investment is inversely related with the rate of interest rate, the ISLM model connects IS with LM. That is the goods market with the financial sector. Okay. By assuming investment is inversely related with the rate of interest rate, the ISLM model connects IS with the LM, the goods market with financial sector. Now, look here. The net present value of an investment project is the discounted value of all the revenues minus the discounted value of all costs. Okay. So where C0 is the initial cost of capital and Rn is the net revenue expected in the nth year, the net revenue, in the net revenue, cost is operating cost. Cost is operating cost. The net present value in what is investment? In my previous lecture, I mentioned what is investment. It is a change in capital stock. So capital stock, if you buy a capital stock, then it has a cost. And you can earn something from this capital. Suppose the longevity of the capital is nth year, and in the first year you get this much of return R1, then the present value is this R1 1 plus I. If you get R2 after second year return as a return, then the present value of the return is this much. Okay. In the same way, if you earn Rn in the nth year, then the present value of that amount is this. So net present value is the summation of all this present values minus the cost. Okay. So this is the net present value. Now, in the ISLM model, net revenue and price of capital is constant, and rate of interest is endogenously determined. It is not exogenously determined, it is endogenously determined. There is an equation. Therefore, investment function which connects goods market and financial market goes into the model in the form of I equal to I. Investment equal to I function of I. This is the rate of interest. Okay, where I is the market rate of interest. Where I is the market rate of interest. Now the saving is equal to autonomous savings. This is the autonomous savings, and S represents the marginal propensity to save and income. This is the total saving. The autonomous saving, it is minus. It has minus sign because you have saved in your past years. So the savings is the autonomous savings plus the plus 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 a factor, that is the marginal propensity to save multiplied with the income. Okay, this is the total saving. This is the total saving. For goods market equilibrium, planned investment should be equal to planned saving. Planned investment should be equal to planned saving, because always there is an equilibrium between the actual investment and actual savings, but only in equilibrium we get the planned investment is equal to the planned saving. So for goods market equilibrium, planned investment should be equal to the planned saving. So y equal to a plus I by s. How can I get it? By equal the values of I and s, that is this value and this value. Okay, by equalizing I investment, that means this part and this part, we get this. After rearranging, we get this. Okay, this is the A is the autonomous saving, I is the market rate of interest, it is the marginal propensity to save. So equation 10 here is the goods market equilibrium equation, and IS curve is nothing but the locus of various combination of real output and rate of interest at which goods market gets equilibrium. Okay, so here two variables there, y and I. Y, income, and the market rate of interest. Two variables there. So IS curve is nothing but the locus of y and I. It is nothing but the locus of various combinations of real output and rate of interest. Okay. Okay. Now I am erasing all this marking. Now look, this is the diagrammatic presentation of the IS curve. This is the diagrammatic representations of the IS curve. Look, this is the first quadrant. This is the second quadrant. This is the third quadrant. This is the fourth quadrant. Okay. Now this is in the first quadrant, along the vertical axis we measure the savings, along the horizontal axis we measure the real income. So this is the savings. This is the savings curve. This is the savings curve. A is equal to minus A plus sy. This is upward rising curve. Okay. And in the second quadrant, we have a goods market equilibrium. That is, what is goods market equilibrium? Goods market is nothing but the A is equal to I. So this line represents all those combination of I and S at which the goods market gets equilibrium, and goods market gets equilibrium. So this is a 45-degree line. This is the 45-degree line which represents which represents all those combinations, the locus of all those combinations of I and S. Okay. Now, the third quadrant, look at the third quadrant. Along the vertical axis, we measure the interest rate, and along the horizontal axis, we measure the investment. As there is a inverse relationship between the investment and the interest rate. It is a downward sloping curve. It is a downward sloping curve. Okay. So if investment increases, then rate of interest falls. Rate of interest falls. So there is a inverse relationship. This represents this type of situation. Now, the fourth quadrant represents along the vertical axis the interest rate and the real income. Now we put, this is the real income Y1, and this is also the Y1, this is also the Y1, and this is Y0, and this is also the Y0. So at Y1, the interest rate is I1, and at Y0, interest rate is I0. This is the interest rate. This is the interest rate along the vertical axis. From this we get this interest rate, and from this income we get this income. So this is the point. This is the point of intersection where we get the I2 and Y1 income and Y1 income. So I0, here is a difference, but it should be here, this point. Okay, it should be here, and this curve will shift up and this curve will shift down. So this is the intersection point. There is a technical problem, but this is the point, as this is the point. Okay, so this Y0 comes from this, and this I0 comes from this. So by using this three quadrant, we get this four quadrant, and this is the IS curve, and this is the IS curve, and this is the IS curve. What is the IS curve? IS curve is nothing but the locus of the real income and the market interest rate at which the goods market gets equilibrium. Okay. So IS curve is a combination of real income and the market rate of interest. So now I am erasing all this marking. Now look, in my previous slide, look, this is the IS curve, the equation of the IS curve, but this is one equation and two variables. Two variables are there. One equation, but two variables. So this equation cannot be solved. Okay. So one extra equation is needed. And for that reason, financial sector is to be introduced in this analysis. Okay. So look, the financial sectors. Now we are going to spread some light on the financial sector. Bond price in financial sector, there is bond only one asset, that is the bond. It is assumed. So bond price, what is the bond price? This is the bond price. Look, this is the bond price. Bond price BP is this plus this plus this plus this. This is the AN is the annual return. It is the annual return. It is constant. It is annual return. So therefore, AN is the nominally fixed annual income, and I here I is the rate of interest, and therefore bond price is the present value. Present value is the present value. This is another present value. Okay, second year, whatever you are getting after second year, the present value is AN by 1 plus I whole square. And so this, by summing up this present values, we get the bond price. We get the bond price. And AN is the constant here, I is the rate of interest. So therefore, calculation is made by inversing the compound interest. This type of calculation is nothing but the inverse of the compound interest rate. Okay. So therefore, the equation represents the present value of bond price. The equation can be simplified in the following way. Look, this is the bond price, the present value of the bond price, and AN by 1 plus I, taking as a common factor, we get this part, okay, we get this part. And the method of solving this part is 1 by 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I. So this is a mathematical formula on which we have solved this part. So therefore, BP is this. And now BP is equal to AN 1 plus I by I. After rearranging this part, we get this. So BP equal to AN by I. BP equal to AN by I. That means the present value of bond is equal to the nominally fixed annual income by the rate of interest. Here AN, here AN, AN. AN is the nominally fixed annual income. Okay. So now I am erasing all this marking. Okay. Now, demand for money equation is as follows. Look, here demand for money is equal to is a function of income, and is a function of income and rate of interest. Income and rate of interest. Okay. So now the demand for money is positively related with the real income, but it is inversely related with the rate of interest. In ISLM model, there is two assets. One is money, another is bond. One earns interest rate and another earns nothing. Money earns nothing, but bond earns interest. But the bond has some problem. The individual can lose profit by investing in bond. Okay. Suppose if you look at my previous slide, then you find that Keeping this part is constant, if rate of interest is increasing, then bond price will be decreasing. If I is increasing, then BP will be decreasing. Okay, so if it is high, it will be low. It will be low. So bond price and rate of interest, there is a inverse relationship. So if such type of situation is there and rate of interest is increasing, bond price is falling, then what happens? There is a opportunity cost of holding money is more, and individuals will hold more money as the interest rate increases. As a result, the speculative demand for money will fall. So there is a inverse relationship between the bond price and the interest. And there is an inverse relationship between the speculative demand for money and the real interest. So look at this. So the demand for money is a function of real income and the real interest. It is positively related with the real income, but negatively or inversely related with the interest rate. Therefore, the money market equilibrium condition is as follows. What is the money market equilibrium? The supply of money is equal to the demand for money. So demand for money is this. So demand for money is this. This is the demand for money. I have got it. And this is the supply of money. This is the real supply of money. Okay. This is the real supply of money, and it is constant. It is exogenously determined. So now, with the help of a figure, we will clarify it. Along the vertical axis, we measure the interest rate, and along the horizontal axis, we measure the quantity of money. So, along the vertical axis, the interest rate. So, quantity of money, the quantity of money, that is the demand for money, quantity of money increases, interest rate will fall. As the demand for money increases, interest rate will fall. This relationship, this shows the D0 T0 curve. This type of relationship is represented by the D0 T0 downward sloping curve. Okay, this is nothing but the locus of all those points of I and demand for money. Now, if income increases from Y0 to Y1. If income increases from Y0 to Y1, then the money demand curve will shift up. If income falls, suppose from Y1 to Y0, then the money demand curve will shift towards the origin. So if there is an increase in income, there is a shift in the money demand curve. But look at this money supply curve is a vertical line because it is exogenously determined. It does not depend on the interest. Okay, it does not depend on the interest. So this is the money demand curve. We have got the money demand curve. Okay, now in my next slide, look, this is the LM function. What is the LM function? It is an upward rising curve. LM function is an upward rising curve. Along the vertical axis, we measure the interest rate. Along the along the horizontal axis, you measure the real income. So LM curve represents all the combinations of interest rate and real income that makes the money market in equilibrium. That makes the money market equilibrium. So LM curve is nothing but the locus of interest rate and real income and interest, all those combinations. There are a number of combinations along this LM curve. And that combination represents the equilibrium in the money market. Demand for money is equal to the supply of money. Okay. Look at my previous slide. You can find it here. Then when income is increasing, rate of interest is also increasing. Suppose this is the point. Suppose this is the point. Okay. This is the point I am marking. Suppose this is the point. This point we get at Y0 income, and this is the I0 interest rate. And if income increases, that is Y1 at Y1, this is the I1. So if there is an increase in income, real income, interest rate will increase. Interest rate will increase if there is an increase in the income. Okay. So there is a positive relationship between the real income and the interest rate. So LM curve is nothing but the locus of all those combination of the real income and the interest rate that make the money market in equilibrium. Okay. Now 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 look, this is the LM curve. We have found this type of LM curve on the basis of our previous slide. So in next slide, look. Now in this diagram, we get the equilibrium in both the markets, in goods market as well as in the money market. In goods market, we get this type of, in goods market, we get this I curve. Okay. That is the combinations of interest rate and income, real income and interest rate, in which the goods market is in equilibrium. We get those all those combinations of Y0, or all those combination of Y and I. And this is the LM curve. This is nothing but the combinations of real income and interest rate, which make the money market in equilibrium. So in this diagram, we have the money market as well as the goods market. So this point is nothing but the intersection point between the goods market and money market. Along all these points, we have equilibrium in the goods market. Along all these points, we have equilibrium in the money market. So this point, the point of intersection, represents the equilibrium in goods market and equilibrium in the money market. So the equilibrium real income is Y0 and equilibrium interest rate is I0. So this is the Keynesian ISLM model. This is the Keynesian ISLM model. Price is fixed here. This equilibrium happens before full employment. This equilibrium happens before full employment. Before full employment, there is no scope for increasing cost because resources are available. As there is no scope of increasing cost, so there is no chance of increasing price level. So in the Keynesian ISLM model, price is assumed to be fixed. price is assumed to be fixed. Okay, farms will increase their production without affecting the cost of production as there is full employment is yet to be reached. As full employment is yet to be reached, farms will increase their production without affecting the cost of production. Hence, the average cost will be unchanged and price level also remains unchanged. So, in the Keynesian ISLM model, we have fixed price because the equilibrium is reached before full employment. So, in this lecture, we try to clarify what is the goods market equilibrium, what is the money market equilibrium, and what is the static equilibrium, what is the flow equilibrium. So, in this lecture, I hope you will clarify all your problems, and I hope you will be enriched by this lecture and hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for enjoying my lecture.